Good afternoon. So there was a book I was reading called The Chimp Paradox, or rather the book is called The Mind Management by Dr. Steve Peters, and it's about the chimp paradox and how it relates to trading is something I wanted to talk about. So the book was a pretty powerful metaphor for the battle between the rational and the emotional aspects of our brains. It's not a scientific theory by any means, but rather one that helps a person make sense of how our emotional and intuitive mind affects and impacts our decision-making capabilities. So the metaphor of the chimp paradox describes the brain as working in two modes, either the chimp or the human mode. The chimp mode, or the inner chimp, is the area of the brain that is driven by feeling, sensing, impressions, emotional thinking, and gut instinct. The chimp is intuitive, makes snap judgments, thinks in black and white, and is capable of being paranoid, irrational, and emotive. Its primary motivation is simply survival. So, on the other hand, you have the human part of the brain, which is rational, evidence-based, thinks in kind of a fuzzy color, shades of gray, if you will, not black or white, and operates on balanced judgment. The human part of the brain is driven by having a greater purpose. And that's one thing that we always talk about. Why do you want to trade? Do you have a greater purpose? Then pure survival instincts. Then there's a third aspect to the metaphor. It's the computer within our brain. This computer starts with an empty hard drive at birth and is only as good as the information we feed it, and is limited by the operating system and hardware, i.e. the information you learn and then use. The computer stores beliefs, some of which are positive, some negative, and some are deeply hardwired and tough to change. Others are easier, obviously, to reprogram. So, personalities then are formed by this combination of the chimp, the human, and the computer, which both the chimp and the human refer to as their friend or their resource, the computer, that is. And altogether they dictate how we think, feel, act, and behave. So given that chimps are emotionally driven by nature, the assumption would be that it is far better for the inner human to be in charge at all times. However, as we all know, in life it's not that simple to turn off your inner chimp. It's part of our nature, and as it is in real life, the chimp is far stronger than the human. So you wouldn't want to take on a chimp in a fight, as we all saw in that recent zoo-ish where the baby got into the gorilla's cage, but you wouldn't want to take on a chimp any more than you want to take on a gorilla. Chimps have 5 times as much strength as the average human, and far more endurance, staying power. So, thus, as the human starts to tire, the chimp starts to take over. So, think about this. Late in the day, you tend to do dumb things if you're not thinking clearly. That means not getting enough sleep, not eating the right things. So sometimes, again, that inner chimp can take over and hijack your mind. So how does this relate to trading? Well, great performers learn to tame their inner chimp. It is back to this metaphor that we can draw upon the success, whether it's dance, surgery, traders, and what does it take, and how will that play out? So one of the aspects of our personality is really the close correlation between success in volatile markets and a tendency to favor emotional cues over rationality and logic, particularly when trading shorter-term time frames. So this shouldn't be surprising to anybody that's traded. You try to get even with the market, you lose, you go the other way, then you get even again, and you go the other way. So in fast, volatile markets, the ability to make money relies strongly on an ability to react fast to new news and seemingly irrational price action. Now, when you align yourself with the human perspective and have a definitive strategy and strict money management practices, with the chimp's extraordinary, strength and endurance, you can be pretty successful. So, when do you use that strength that you need for those types of markets, and when do you use the more rational brain? So that's really what you have to do. And you have to think about those times in your day when you ask, hey, why did I just take that trade? Why did I do that? Well, it was your inner human questioning your inner chimp. And these are the things that go on. As long as you're aware and conscious of this, sometimes the inner chimp's going to take over, and you got to kind of put him back in his place. So, and you can over-rationalize equally well on the human side. So these are just some of the things that I was thinking about when cruising through this book the other day. And again, I'd highly recommend the book, and make sure that there's a good balance. It's always a balance between the inner human and the inner chimp when it comes to successful trading. All right, thanks.